Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to the Lynn Life. I've been working on my model railroad. I've been working on the railroad, and I want to show you a process that I'm doing to construct a building. Actually, I'm constructing 4 buildings, and I'm going to show you the area that they're going to go into. We're only going to do one today, and I think you're going to like this. This is pretty interesting. So let's get going. My name is Jonathan, and I'm a caregiver for my wife Lynne, who has a permanent brain injury. Things are a bit different now, but we're doing the best that we can. Join us as we experience the Lynn life. Back in the beginning of January, I went to a model train show in Utica, New York, at the train station. And if you've watched that video, you saw me purchase 2 building facades. They were just the facades of the building. And it's one of those that I'm working on. I'm going to be working on both, but it's one of those that I'm working on right now. I've already started a little bit, and I'm going to show you that right now. Well, this is the building I've already started. It's a facade, and what I've done so far is this building, the whole front's done, but you have to put all these little parts on here. Like the best example is the edge here, which is it's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 little pieces of wood there, and they're all laser cut. They're already sized, so you don't have to do any cutting yourself other than cut it out of the little part that was holding it. But then I glued those, and then you have to glue all the little pieces to every window, every little sash and stuff like that. So that's actually done. I got to finish the door a little bit, but that part's done. Now, this is only a facade. Now, here's one of the other ones that I purchased. It's still in the plastic, and here's some of the pieces for that I will eventually do as well. But I want to convert this, make this not a facade. I want to make it a full building with 2 sides, a back and a top. So that's what I'm doing now. So I've actually cut some foam core board, which is one of my favorite favorite things I like to use on the railroad for buildings and for other things. I love foam core board. It's quite strong, it's thicker, and it's light. It's very, very light. So it works very, very well in model railroad building construction. So I have 2 sides here, and this is the back. And you'll see how I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to actually cover that with something like this here. I'll show you what this is. This is plastic, and this is has patterned to look like bricks. See? It's a brick pattern on it, and I'll glue that to the side of this foam core so that I can it'll look like brick sides on this building, and I think it'll look great. So I'm going to start doing this for you, and you'll see the whole process. And then eventually this brick here will be painted as well. Okay, so let's start. Okay, first step is I'm going to glue one of the sides on. I've already pre-measured all this, so it's pretty safe. I know what I want to say I know what I'm doing, but let's just get it started, get it in place, and I'll glue it again. I always use this, whenever it involves cardboard or anything like that, or even foam core, I use wood glue. Works great. Put that on here, a little bit. There we go. Glue this on here. And I want to show you what I'm going to do to the front of this building to make it interesting. Really interesting. The foam core pieces are all in place, and now it has to dry. And once that dries, and then it's structurally, sound, and I can start applying other things. There'll be a roof; it's got to go on it. I will add. I always keep parts from um, other kits and things, and right here I notice I got some roof vents and things like that. Some other ladder type stuff. Um, I'll probably use some of that on this one. And over here, look at this. So this is what's really cool. At the very front, I'm going to add this. This is a fire escape. I've had this for a very, very long time. I have a whole box full of like parts, buildings and things like that. Parts used for scratch building or adding to kits and things like that. So I bought this at a train show. It's only $10. It's probably 25 now. And I'm going to add that to the front. I know usually fire escapes would be on the back, but if I put it on the back, you're not going to see it. So I'm going to put fire escape or partial fire escape anyways here in the very front so you can see this. I won't be doing it on the other building. I'm just going to do it on this one, and I think it will be pretty cool. So and then I'll add some other little details as well. And there's going to be, I have to put the it's like clear acetate that I got to put on the back of the windows, look like glass. And then I'll add this black paper. I'm going to put that inside it in the back wall, and so that you can't see, but I am going to light it. I am going to put some lighting in here as well. And let me show you the area where this and the other 3 buildings are going to be going. All right, the area that I'm finishing is over here. Now, sometime last year you saw me finish this building here with a Domino Sugar sign on top. Another building over there, but there's gaps. There's one there and one here that has to be filled. And there'll be 2 buildings, I think, in that gap, one over here, and another one over in this area. So this is an area that I've been wanting to finish up, sort of a backdrop to the train. You can see one of my trains right here. It's an elevated train. You might have seen some of this stuff done before. Last year I was working, was it last year? I was working on this area here. Time goes by quickly, but this is the area. So the building that I'm working on now, I think is going here. I don't know till they're all done, and I set them down, I look at it, and I analyze, and I figure out what looks good. But that is the area I'm working on, and I'm going to continue making buildings. So as we go along, I'll keep showing you updates. Obviously, they're not going to all be done in this video. I already know if the building I'm working on now will be completely done in this video. I'll get as much of it done as I can. But that's where they're going. Okay, now the building is dry. I started cutting this plastic piece here that has the brick texture to it. This is a good one too. I like this. It's kind of a weathered brick, and I'm going to put that right here. I need to cut another piece for up here yet. It's not quite long enough to go the total length of the building, but this will go here. Then I will paint this, and I will weather it. And I'm also going to paint this little strip here. The front of the building is done. I can weather that yet, but this side piece here needs to sort of match the front. So I will find some paint that's close. I'll probably end up mixing some paint to match that and just paint that up here. Um, and I will paint this sort of a brick color, and then I'm going to weather it. This is what I'm doing right now. Is the front part was a kit, only the front wall, right, the facade, and then the rest I am scratch building. And this is my absolute favorite thing to do when coming to modeling. I love getting creative and kind of scratch building or modifying kits and things like that. I really love doing this. Try to make it as real as possible. Another thing I want to mention too is, and I've mentioned this before on other model railroading vlogs, I'm only going to detail this side of the building, because this side I will paint it. I'll give it kind of a brick color, but it's not going to be seen. So I do not model areas that will not be seen. Same thing's done in movie sets. They only finish what you're going to be seeing, and also in theme parks they'll do the same thing. There's no sense spending the time and expense and finishing and modeling an area that you're never going to see, and it's a waste of resources as well. So I'm going to do this on both of those models, this one and the other one. When I finish that as well, I'm going to do it the same way. But the big difference on this one is going to have the fire escape on the front. There will be some added detail. So this one's going to be a little bit more visible than the other one, I think, because I want people to see all this. And when I put a fire escape, I'll put things on the fire escape. I may put a person on it. I may put a little potted plant, or maybe somebody will be drying their clothes on there or something. I will model some of that stuff on there, and that's some of my favorite things to do, finishing it like that. It's a lot of fun. I've glued the plastic brick textured sheet to the model now, and I want to say what I use for this. Now this is plastic, and I'm actually gluing it to paper, really, which is what's on the outside of foam core board. So when I have to glue plastic to wood or something like that, I use canopy glue. Works very good. Made by a company called Zap. And this is also what I use to glue acetate, like clear acetate, to the inside of the windows. I will use this because it dries perfectly clear and doesn't mess things up. So I've had a lot of success with this. So that's what I've used to glue this plastic piece to the foam core. And it dries really quick, sticks really quick, quickly, but it's not like super glue or Gorilla Glue or something like that. I do use that in certain applications. I don't like using it. It's messy, sticks to my fingers, things like that. So that part's done. This is ready for painting. What I'm doing now is I'm creating my brick color. So I added a little brown that I was happy with, and added a little cadmium red to it to give it a little redder color. I think I'm happy with that for a brick color. I'm going to start applying that to both sides of the building. Okay, I'm applying the red color now. So don't be afraid to mix your colors, people. You may not have the exact color you're looking for, which I don't always. Go through a bit of paint. I'm at a point I need to invest in some more paint, so some fresh paint. Running out of some stuff. That's okay. But mix your colors. Just make sure that the colors you're mixing, you aren't mixing oil paint with acrylic paint. I have both for different applications. So this is all acrylic. I prefer acrylic. It's easier to work with, but doesn't always render the best results. So sometimes you gotta go with oil paint as well. I'm just about done with this side. So this is the brick, the actual brick textured side. And I am going to paint the other side as well, even though there's no brick texture on there. I just feel like I gotta do something to finish that a little bit, just in case somebody peeks around the corner and catches a glimpse or something. Which is mainly me. But I do like to photograph it sometimes. So if I'm going to do a picture or something, I don't want this to show. So I will paint the other side. See, so this is going relatively quickly. Once I get started on something, I move quick. I don't mess around. Other than drying time and things like that. But this is very therapeutic to me. I like sitting up here and doing my modeling from time to time. It's a way of getting away. You know, some people, you hear people going on vacation to kind of get away and get away from things. This works much the same way, but I think even less stressful because I don't have to do any travel plans. All right, get an idea. This is what we're looking at here with the brick side. Of course, if you put, actually be black in there, so the windows are dark during the day. I will put a light in there, light it up during the evening or in evening mode, and it'll look good. So what I'm going to do eventually, I'll start weathering this. That's real fun, doing that, really make it look real. And then I got to put a roof on it. I won't do that until I put the lighting in. I got to put the clear acetate in front of the windows. And I start working on the fire escape. That'll be fun. That's probably what I'm going to start doing now. I'm going to let some of this paint dry, and then I'll start looking, working on the fire escape. All right, I'm looking at the fire escape. The kit that I have, a Walther's kit, fire escape, is actually for a 4-story building. This is a 6-story building, but that's okay. I will modify it. I rarely ever make a kit exactly the way it was intended. I'm always modifying. So I think what I'm going to do, there's actually 3 landings. See it here, 1, 2, 3, right? So I'm going to put a landing here, here, and here, and actually have a long ladder here. I'm going to put this one long ladder from the top down to the first landing. So if this story here, 1, 2, 3, yeah, needed to get down to it or go up to the roof, they could get on the ladder and go down. And then I'll put a longer ladder from here all the way down. I think that's what I'll do that. I have lots of extra ladders. I have lots of spare parts and things like that. So that makes it fun, modifying things. Well, the fire escape is coming along, as you can see. It's not attached to it. I've had to do some adjusting. That ladder that goes down there was too long. So that would affect where these platforms went. I wanted them to be under each window, equally. So I had to trim that ladder. Not something I anticipated, but I had to do that. And it's coming along, but it's not attached yet. And I still have to build another platform here and attach that ladder. And but other than that, it's coming along. Well, it's the next day, and I'm ready to start working on this again. I'll show you what I did do. Is I got the roof done last night off camera, and there it is. And now I'm going to continue. I got at least one roof vent here that will go on that, and then I'm going to put a little billboard. I like putting up advertising on these buildings and all throughout the model railroad. All period. The railroad is from the early 40s. It's a war era, and I found a Crosley radio billboard. I collect a lot of that old stuff, so I just chose that one. I think I'm going to build a little frame for it and put that right here. Here's what I've put together so far for the fire escape. That's all dry now. I can start proceeding with the rest, put more railings here and get the other platform done here. I want to get that done. That's what I want to work on right now, and so I can start putting that in place, and then finish the roof, and then I can start working on the weathering it, which will really detail it up. After that, I'll install some lighting, and we should be pretty close. Well, here's what we're looking at so far. Okay, got the fire escape on there. It's not completed. I got to put ladders on the top and bottom, and we got some rooftop details. I got a Crosley radio ad. Got a little vent here which needs to be painted. Of course, this side is done. Yeah, it's coming along. Coming along good. We got a ways to go, but I'm happy with it so far. I've taken a kit that was just a facade, made it into a three-dimensional building, right? With some roof details and a fire escape on the front. I think it will be neat. Okay, let's take a look at how this building might, where it may go between these two buildings here. That's it right there. And we can zoom into it a little bit here. And I think it looks good there. I think it really fills out that little area. And then there's going to be more. One over, over in that area, got to be two that are going to fill out that gap. And yeah, I think it's coming along. So, I like all the advertising. Got Domino Sugar over here. Got H&C Coffee on top of that building. Those are animated signs. And then this was a static sign for Crosley radio. We got a buy war bonds over on that building over there. I like to have stuff like that up there. The train running by. I think it's going to look great. I think we're going to put a wrap on this video. I know I haven't detailed that yet, like weathered it, but I will. And perhaps this will give you an excuse to come back next week when I have that completely weathered and finished, and possibly a couple more buildings. I'll have at least one more done, and you can take a look at that. I'll try to have two. I'm actually shooting this on a Friday, so that gives me another week to try to get this done. I think I have time this week to do that, but I want to start editing this video, so let me get started on that. Unless something even more important comes up next week, you never know. Whatever happens that week becomes the vlog. But I appreciate you watching, especially if you've made it this far. This isn't for everybody, but it's what I do. So, we'll see you next time on the Lynne Line.